bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Our next guest says that New Jersey is failing to defend its Constitution. Do you agree? Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Linda Kurtz and this is Comcast Newsmakers. This hour's newsmaker is Seth Grossman and he's the Executive Director of libertyandprosperity.org. And today we're talking about tax reform. Thanks for joining us today. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me here. And of course, Liberty and Prosperity is a volunteer education organization. We're inspired by the motto of New Jersey, Liberty and Prosperity. We believe those words have meaning and are as true and relevant today as they were in 1776. Our goal is to learn from our history and culture of liberty and to teach Americans today that voting is not nearly enough. It takes a whole lot more to be a free and effective citizen. And it really starts with our Constitution that so few people know about. So every politician who gets elected takes an oath to support and defend our Constitution, and yet half of them never read the document, don't know what's there, so how can you defend something that's not there? Now, I have here the New Jersey Constitution, and there's an interesting article, Article 8, Section 2, that talks about putting the state into debt. And it's pretty clear that the legislature has no power to borrow money more than 1% of the budget, or $300 million, without a vote of the people. And yet you heard our governor, you heard many politicians say that the state is probably $120 to $130 billion in debt. Which is almost more than $10,000 for every man, woman, and child in the state. So how do we get there? Well, we have what's called bonded debt, where the people are supposed to vote on it, but you find out that a lot of financial gimmicks were put through, setting up these dummy authorities. So we have maybe 2/3 of our $30 billion of bonded debt was never voted on by the people. We have a $25 billion hole in the pension fund, where we've promised to pay public employees money that we never set aside. And then we promised to pay our public employees when they're retired. With 25 years in, we promised them free medical benefits for the rest of their life, but we didn't put a nickel aside to cover that expense. So we're more than $100 billion in debt with no money set aside. It's in complete violation of our Constitution.
So what do we do? Well,
the question is, we have a choice. Now, Governor Corzine, the man responsible for defending our Constitution, who took an oath to do that, is actually attacking our Constitution. His proposal is to so-called monetize our assets, our public highways. And we all know there are only three ways to monetize something. You either sell it, you lease it, or you hock it. You take in a subprime mortgage to do it. And he's been very cagey. He hasn't said how he's going to do it. He said, well, I'm not going to sell it. I'll lease it, but I won't lease it to any foreigners, but who knows what he's going to do. But the fact is, we can't take assets that belong to the people and violate our Constitution. What we've got to do, there's a better way. We've got to take all these debts that were incurred without a vote of the people and put it on the ballot. And if the people say, yes, we want to pay back these debts, we want to pay back these billions of dollars of bonded debt for projects that was never voted on, we've got to take the $25 billion of pensions promised to people with no money to back it up. We've got to take the $75 billion of health benefits they'll promise to employees with no money to back it up. Let the people vote on whether or not we want to incur this debt. But if the people say, no, we do not want to incur this debt, we've got to respect the will of the people and repudiate the debt, just like any other flim-flam illegal debt. If we do not do this, we're breaking our Constitution, and Governor Corzine, it seems, does not want to let the people have a vote. He's saying he's going to ram through this proposal to, again, monetize our public highways. And again, if you need an asset, it doesn't make any sense to monetize it, because then you have to buy it back to use it.
Right.
And I guess I compare this to, if you're a hard-pressed homeowner and you have too much in credit card debt and you can't make your mortgage payments, and some guy says, hey, I'm going to install paid toilets in your house, and I'll give you $10,000 if you let me put a paid toilet in your house. Sounds like a good idea. You're monetizing your toilets to get the money, but every time you got to go, got to put money in there, and also have a thing in there that says you can't put any other toilet in there, and that's really the fine print in the plan to monetize our assets. So, for more information, libertyandprosperity.org. We've got to defend our Constitution.